Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about step number 7 in my 13-step foundation to healing from post-traumatic stress and trauma. And step number 7 is peace. So what we're going to talk about are the different ways that, or things that I did while I was healing from my post-traumatic stress to obtain peace in my life, or to obtain a state of calmness. And as with all the steps in my 13-step foundation, as I was going through all this and building this, I just wanted to keep everything simple. I didn't want it to be too onerous. I didn't want it to be too overbearing, too inundating. It was hard enough as it was to deal with what I was dealing with. So like I said, as with all of them, I just tried to keep everything simple. I didn't need to be adding any more stress to my life, if you will, as I already had enough, obviously. So one of the first things that I did was I really enjoy nature. So I used to go for walks out in nature. I used to live by a mountain, and so I used to go walk out there every day. I made it a point every day to get out there and spend some time out in nature. And that accomplishes a couple things, really. Number one, it gets you out of the house so that you start breaking down the barrier of isolation that most people with PTSD have. They try to isolate themselves. And it gets you out, gets you breathing some fresh air, which is good for your mind and good for your body. But then, like I said, you get out, it gets you away from your normal environment, gets away from your problems, from the things that bombard you every day, so that you have a chance to clear your mind and just exist. So I would just go out into nature, and I'd find a spot, that was quiet and out in the mountains somewhere, and I would just sit and I would just watch. I would try not to think about anything in particular. I just kind of let my mind go where it went. And I'd watch the animals, the birds, plants, all those sorts of things. And a lot of things used to come to me while I was sitting out there. If I had some sort of issue I was dealing with, or something I was trying to accomplish, something like that. Parts of this book I wrote while sitting out there, because my mind was clear and these things could get through to me. My ideas could come to me. I realized a lot of things about life while I was sitting out there. One day I was sitting there, and I talk about it in my book, The Sword and the Anvil here, which is where all this information is, and in greater detail, of course. But I was sitting there one day, and I saw all these things going on in front of my face, nature-wise. So I saw things being born. I saw things expiring. I saw plants dying and new ones sprouting. And I realized that life is just much more than this existence that we have, right? It's much more than getting up, going to work, earning a living, paying your bills, take care of your house, retiring, all those sorts of things. I realized that there's this perpetual energy that's in everything. It's in the animals, it's in the trees, it's in the air, it's in the ground, it's in us. And you could see it in nature. So you could see that as things were expiring, new things were being born. So it was clear to me that there was some form of energy that is always there. It just moves from one thing to another. And that in itself also gave me a feeling of peace and a feeling of calmness, knowing that this isn't just it. I mean, there's so much more to life. So that in itself, like I said, calmed me down, made me feel better, knowing that there's this perpetual energy. And nature, like I said, it just sort of helped clear my mind and helped me to see these things that were always right there in front of my face. So, and it made me realize that obviously there's something bigger that I need to do with my life than be dealing with post-traumatic stress and trauma and those sorts of things. So that's one of the things that I used to do. Like I said, I still go out in nature to this day. I still go for walks. Like I said, allows me to clear my mind and see things that I need to see clearly. And the other thing that I liked to do was to sit and meditate. And we talked about that a little bit in the last video. And as I stated in the last video, you just have to keep it simple. It's just about existing quietly, existing in a state of calmness without being bombarded by things. You're giving your mind and your body a break from these everyday things. So you're breaking this cycle of negativity, so to speak, just as I was just mentioning about this cycle of energy that's in everything. That we're all connected. Everything is connected somehow. The same holds true for negativity. So you have to break that cycle. You want to perpetuate the cycle of positivity, but break the cycle of negativity. So one of the ways I did that, other than going out in nature, was meditating, which basically what I was doing out there was meditating as well. But as I stated in the last video, number 6, that basically meditation is just sit there, close your eyes, breathe in and out deeply, concentrate on your breath, and block those thoughts from bombarding your head. And you can stop that because they're going to come in, and especially in the beginning, it's going to happen quite a bit. But you'll get better at it as you practice it. It's something that you need to practice every day. Make it part of your daily routine like I did. At least that's what I realized I had to do. And I just sat there and did that. And if it was too much, like I said, I'd concentrate on my breathing. Or I'd have a saying that I'd repeat to myself until these thoughts went away. Or I'd sit there while my eyes were closed and I was breathing slowly and calming everything down. I'd listen to, say, I could hear the birds outside, something like that. And you just sit there. And I started off doing it for about 5 minutes, and now I do it for anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes each time that I do it. And I probably do it 2 to 3 times a day. And it really is basically that simple. But meditation is also, you don't have to sit there. You don't have to have any special pose or anything fancy like that. Just sit in a relaxing position. You can even lay down and do it. I do that at night when I go to bed. I lay down in bed and meditate right there in bed. And that helps me to calm down, get rid of the day, and fall asleep. And I sleep quite well when I do that. So, but as I was about to say, it's not just about sitting there with your eyes closed. You can meditate. Meditation is also sitting there. You can have your eyes open, and you can be looking out your window even. Maybe you have a tree in your front yard that you like, or there's some birds that come visit, or some kind of plants, or something in the neighbor's yard, something like that. You can just sit there and have a cup of coffee, and if you like coffee, and just sit in quiet, peace and quiet, and observe the tree. That's all you're doing is being quiet, being still. You're just existing, and you're observing life in front of you. And that's basically it with that. That's all you really have to do. I mean, I do that as well in the morning. I don't do anything till I meditate, and then with my eyes closed and my breathing and all that. And then I sit there with a cup of coffee, and I don't talk to anybody. I don't have any radios on. Nothing. And I just sit there, and I have things out in the yard and neighbors' yards and stuff I like to look at. And I do that, and I just sit there and exist and just watch what's going on. And for half an hour or so, whatever time I have. Sometimes I can do it for an hour. And then I get up and I go do my work and things that I have to do every day. So there's that. And then, there's other things you can do too, like listen to relaxing music. I do that at a certain point in my day as well. I usually have some type of relaxing music on in the background while I'm working. But if you just sit there, again, with your cup of coffee, whatever, glass of water, just sit there and say you like classical music. Listen to classical music. Just focus and concentrate on the music itself, the sounds and the different instruments. You can listen to nature sounds if that's what you like. Some of that stuff's pretty neat. You can find videos on. And just concentrate on the different sounds that are occurring and things like that. Get your mind off everything. Give yourself a break for at least 5 minutes. And try to work. And then after I was doing that, I tried to work myself up to longer amounts of time. Like I said, now I'll do it anywhere. Sometimes I only do it for 5 minutes because that's all the time I got. But I make sure that I do it every day. And I work myself up. And now, like I said, I do it religiously twice a day, sometimes three times a day, if I can. And most days I can, but sometimes I just can't because of other obligations or whatever. So you can do that, sit there and listen to music, something like that. And then the last thing that I would like to mention is, if there's anything that you like to do, everybody has something that they like to do. So whatever it is that you really enjoy doing, if it's playing the guitar, singing, writing like I like to do, anything like that, drawing, whatever, fishing, whatever it is, that's also sort of a form of meditation, or cooking. I use cooking a lot. I've done that before. I still do. So it was anything that sort of takes your mind off of everything that's going on, the work that you're doing, the things that you're trying to heal, the anxieties that you're being bombarded with or having trouble dealing with. Flip that switch and then go to whatever it is you enjoy doing. Like I said, for me, when I cook, it takes my mind off of everything because I have to completely focus on what I'm doing. Whether it's I'm trying to learn a new recipe, create my own recipe, cook, whatever, I'm completely focused on what I'm doing right there at hand. And for however long that takes, it gives my mind a break. And I was amazed at the difference it made in my life. I was amazed at the difference it made in how calm I was throughout the day. Same thing with writing. Obviously, I spend hours every day writing. That's what I do. I actually couldn't imagine my life without doing it. So, because it's just done so much things for my life. And everybody has something like that. Everybody has something that they like to do. And what we're really talking about here, which will lead to my next video, step number 8, finding your passion, is your passion. So I have a passion for cooking. I have a passion for writing. Different things like that. And I'll repeat it, I'm sure, several times in the next video, and I've said it in other videos before, and I'm going to say it again in this one. I always say that your passion is the vehicle that takes you from pain to peace, because it takes you out of that bad environment, it takes you out of that negative energy, and puts you into a positive frame of mind, puts you into a positive energy, and it puts you at ease, into this sort of state of calmness, if you will. And I found that's what it did for me, so that's what I do. And like I said, and through all this, I developed all these wonderful habits, healthy habits, not only physically but mentally, and they've made a huge difference in my life, and I still do them all today. And like I said, I can't imagine living my life without doing these things. So by doing all this, I really, in essence, have created a whole new life for myself. And I like it, and I'm happy, so it worked for me. I do want to mention that, as I talk in all of my other videos with these steps, I also have little acronyms in my book that describe, they describe what each step is about. There's like a meaning behind it. So I want to read those to you. There's 2 of them, and like I said, they're in my book here, The Sword and the Anvil, Definitive Guide for Natural Healthy Healing for Post-Traumatic Stress and Trauma. And those acronyms are, the first one, as we talked about, I like to go out in nature. So the first one is nature. And nature is nurturing all throughout you, relinquishing everything. Again, nature. Nurturing all throughout you, relinquishing everything. And that's basically what you're doing when you're going out in nature, or what I was doing. And the second one is peace, which is what this is all about, right? So peace. Peacefully existing as calm envelops. Again, peace. Peacefully existing as calm envelops, which is what you're trying to do, is create an environment where you're enveloped with calmness. So that's it for today's video. Stay tuned for the next video, step number 8, finding your passion. Please don't forget to like and share my video. Help me spread my message of positivity and help inspire other people to do the same and uplift their lives. Also, please check in the drop-down window or the window below the video. There are links there to my books, my other work, TV interviews that I've done, and those sorts of things. And if you're so inclined to purchase my books, I sincerely appreciate it and I thank you. It helps me to be able to keep doing what I'm doing and trying to inspire other people to do the same for themselves. So I appreciate it. And if for any of those of you who would like to connect with me, I am on social media. I am on Instagram. You can just look me up under Robert Serocki Jr. And like I said, stay tuned for the next video, which will be step number 8, finding your passion. Have a great day, everybody, and go out and make your life better and more positive and peaceful. Thank you.